Okay, party people. We're back from the kart track event. I figured I'd make this video because I haven't really made a video on me working on the car in a long time. Just because I've been so focused on like just trying to get it done that I'm like, I can't do this and do a video. And also a lot of the upgrades were pissing me off. So it's not fun making a video when you're pissed off, so. But we have the, what's it called? Driven Luck Circuit, the 3-day event, 4th of July weekend. And we got a couple goodies to slap onto the car before then. So we got this is the main thing, is the CSF Triple Pass Radiator. This should help keep the car hopefully at least a little bit cooler. I'm excited to see how much of a difference it makes. So, you know, if it doesn't make a difference, then I'll still have my, you know, the current radiator, plus, you know, I got the 2 other Z's with, they both have radiators, so I have plenty of extra radiators if this one doesn't actually end up cooling that much, so whatever. But we got that. We got a couple other things to help make it cooler. We got the GK Tech Swirl pot thing. So what that does is you mount it over there in the back of the engine and hook up to the coolant system, and as it's running, that becomes the highest point, and it shoots the coolant in there, swirls it around, and gets the air out of the system. So it's kind of like a self-bleeder type thing. At least that's how I understand it. I could be wrong. I don't really fully 100% know what I'm talking about, but that's what it seems like it does. Then I got the Z1, I don't know, is it the heater hose set line? I don't know. A couple of those just to make sure I don't have any random failures from the shitty OEM lines popping or splitting or anything like that, because this car is like, you know, over a decade old. Along with that, I'm trying to think, we got a bleeder port that we're putting in somewhere. This looks like a bleeder port? Is that what I'm doing? I think that's what I'm doing. I think that's what I'm doing. We're gonna go with that, bleeder port. And a high pressure radiator cap that we're gonna put on. And I think that's pretty much it. It doesn't seem like a lot, but I do have to like take the whole front of the car back off to get to the radiator spot. I believe you can do it without doing all that, but it's not gonna take long. So I might as well just do it and make my life easier, you know. It sucks to get into like a really tight spot in order to save time, and then it just be an absolute pain in the ass. Not fun. Okay, well, we're gonna get working on it. I'm gonna set up a little time lapse and you'll see what the hell I'm doing. If y'all even are interested in that. I don't really know. Who cares? I don't. Okay, you know what time it is. Time to drain the frickin' Freon. This time, I'm gonna not blind myself, since that almost happened last time. But, yeah, we got it to a point where it's ready to basically do everything. I gotta drain it, and then I can pop the lines off here. That's already disconnected. I'll switch that later. But you pull this out, and then you gotta switch that over to the new one. Switch some of these bolts, and then, you know, it's ready to go in. And then it's just a put it back together moment. So, not too much. I guess while it's out, I'm going to be doing some of the Z1 heater hose lines, because there's 3 or 4 of those to put in there. And I'm assuming that's probably going to be a little easier with the whole front end missing. Although I do know one of the lines is like in the way back over there. So, I'm just keep plugging away at it. Okay, so I did the AC thing, and like nothing really came out of it. It hissed for like a while, but like it's not really anything. So that's confusing. I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna take the lines off and brace myself in case it fucking explodes, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what else to do. It's really weird. I mean, I pushed I put a thing in there and pushed down on the needle, and like it wasn't spraying any more out. It just had like a tiny lick, and that was it. So I'm hoping that means there's nothing really in there, but that's kind of odd because I definitely had AC. So I don't know. Maybe I got a leak in the system somewhere, and it was getting to the end of its abilities. We'll see. Okay, I popped it off. I mean, it didn't like or anything, so I must have like a leak in the system somewhere, because a lot more came out last time. I got like a quarter of a bottle of Freon. Plus, whenever I took this off, it freaking popped and shot past me and like covered this over here. So, I don't know. I must have had some sort of leak in my line and was low on Freon. I don't know, it made my job right here easier, but kind of sucks knowing that I have some sort of bullshit somewhere. But yeah, now I gotta fucking figure this shit out. I gotta like get this shit out of the way. But like this line is stiff like all the way back to here. It's like stuck in this freaking bracket bullshit. And I'm not really sure what to do. What's this bracket? Oh, I think this bracket comes apart. Hold on, I'm gonna do this shit. Okay, we got the old radiator out. It was pretty freaking annoying. Not getting it out, but there's these tab things, these little mounts that sit in there. That I was getting off. It turns out that I actually didn't need to do that because it has its own little pegs and things. So there's absolutely no point of me struggling for 20 minutes to get this one freaking pad out of the bottom. So I guess I'll end up just putting that back on there. Also, it comes with its own dryer thing. And then its own lines, which I'm not entirely happy about that, because that means that I have to take these off at that stupid freaking joint up in there. I hate that. I hate that thing so much. Last time I think I spent, I don't even know, like hours trying to get it off. Trying different methods and finally finding a tool for it, and yeah. So not too thrilled about that, but I mean, look at this thing. It seems pretty cool. I thought it was gonna be, well, I guess technically it is thicker. Let's see. Technically, it's thicker by like one this amount. So, because this thing is this up in here. So it's a little bit bigger. And it has like an actual separation between the condenser and the radiator, which I don't know, maybe that helps. Who knows? Who knows? This thing was fucking expensive, so hopefully it does something for me. Yeah, pretty cool, nice and shiny. we're gonna throw it in there and see. The video I watched said there's probably like stuff that you have to like shave down to make it fit, but also that video is like 1,000,000 years old, so maybe this one's updated and actually fits in there good, because the other one I watched said you have to take these off and put them on there, and I didn't. Same thing with this and those lines. I don't know. See if it fits. So I got it in there for about a minute. Because the CSF radiator has these custom lines or whatever, I actually had to loosen up the headlight to like be able to move it out of the way so these lines can go up in here. Along with that, it's not these that I needed to put on here, but the little rubber part that was on top. But even then, like it doesn't sit high enough, which is an issue. Also, I did have to switch over the plug for this. It just was tight, the cap for the CSF for transport. But I placed it up in there, and then it doesn't go far enough this way, and then it also doesn't go high enough for the cap to go down there and grab it. So I'm not entirely sure. I need to go watch what that other dude did. Obviously, it's different than mine because he was having to trim all kinds of stuff up here and all that. But I don't know, like I could trim the back, but the problem is, I'd have to place it up in there again. 'Cause it's definitely hitting this right here and this middle part and this one, but if it stays below this ridge, then it should be fine to get up in there more. But I mean, I think it's all the way up here, so I think it's hitting all this as well. So if that's the case, then my options are do something to pad the bottom to raise it up, and then do this exact hole, but like just cut it more on this end, like that. So I don't know. I'm gonna do some research and then mess with it tomorrow. I got a decent amount into this. Also, the AC lines, it has these little white clips that are just like sitting on the lines. I don't know if I tried it last time or if I didn't know, but those are actually like manufacturer, like they clip in and hold it so then you can just pop the lines off. I feel like I did try that the last time I took the front of the car off, but I can't remember. But man, was that so easy, because I was still struggling with the little custom like quick disconnect things you put on there to try and get those springs back, and that was like not working, and then I just popped that little white clip in there and came out. Yeah, no clue. But I'm gonna research and see what to do about trimming all this, or if I even need to, or if it's worth it. Oh Lord, that's what happens with custom shit. You know what wouldn't be a problem? If it was in the rear of my car. Okay, I did some research, and basically there's just one video on YouTube of somebody else doing this. But he ended up trimming this right here, the middle part, this, and then also cutting out the center, and then moving the four holes more this way, like cutting them this way. So then there's no binding on the radiator whenever you slide it in here. So I'm gonna put mine in here and kind of like see if I need to cut the same slots, because he said his had sort of a twist in it. I don't know if mine's got a twist as well. So I may not have to cut as much, or maybe I'll have to cut more. I don't know. We're just gonna put it up in here and see what happens, pretty much, you know? Okay, I think I've got it. I had to move these holes a little bit more this way, same thing on this side, cut all these little things out of the way, and then these holes also had to move more towards the front there. It should go in pretty easy now, but not too hard. Although I did notice something, that the AC lines, the condenser lines coming out this way, this one sticks out like way too far. It still fits in there, but it's like pushed up against the edge of this, which I'm not super happy about. It doesn't feel good. It shouldn't be enough to really mess it up. I'm sure if I got like in a crash and then something got moved here and pushed, I mean, it definitely would fuck something up. So not super enthused about that, but not really anything I can do about it. I mean, I could try and cut a hole in here, but I don't know. I don't know if that would really do too much. But yeah, we're gonna put it in, test it out, and it should fit. And then we can start figuring out what we're doing with the swirl pot and all the Z1 lines, and you know, maybe even have this back together pretty soon. Okay, I actually ended up cutting a little thing out for this because I'm like, it'll just take 10 minutes and could save my freaking $700 radiator. So we're gonna see how that fits up in there. So yeah, now you can see kind of what was happening here. I mean, you can see it actually, like, it was pressed up against it a good amount. Now that there's a hole for it to go into, it definitely had pressure on it. So this should help a lot. I think I'm actually going to extend because it still looks like it's touching up in there. So I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger, give it a little more clearance for wiggle room and all that. But besides that, this thing is it's ready to go, boy. It's ready to go. Everything kind of sits in there good. It has a little bit of wiggle, which is what we want. We don't want it to be just super tight to where if anything kind of happens, it bends and torques and pops it, or, you know, all the bad stuff. So, well, it's ready for the next part. And it's in. We're putting it back together slowly. Yeah, it fits real good. It looks nice, and AC lines went in there good. I had trouble with this little clip that holds in there. It's still not perfectly in there. As you can see, it's kind of out. It's just the way these lines are, because it's the custom ones that they put on the radiator instead of your old lines off the old radiator. It doesn't have the right kind of bend or clearance to really pull everything together to have this slip into the slot in the back. So I just did the best I could with that. AC, I mean, the condenser lines hooked back into there pretty good. So now we are going to start doing the swirl pot and the heater hose lines. I think pretty much all of these go like way in the back over here, like over there or down here. So that'll be fun crawling up under there. But the swirl pot sits like right behind the engine, like right there, to get like the highest point in the coolant system. And it's got a whole like thing on where stuff goes, and you gotta run your lines, decide where they go, cut them, put the fittings on them, and all that fun stuff. So that'll be a little bit of an adventure there. But I have to cut the bottom radiator hose line to put this into there, because that is some sort of, is that an inlet or an outlet? It is, it's an outlet. So it goes from the bottom of the swirl pot into the lower radiator hose line, I think. Let's have that backwards. I don't know. I didn't create this shit, so. Yeah, fun. It is mostly back together. I got the whole front end pretty much back together, except for the crash bar and bumper and all that stuff. So I decided to start messing around with the whole swirl pot crap. I got the lower radiator hose off to, you got to cut a spot for this to go in, and that plugs into the bottom of the swirl pot. But I was looking at it, and it just doesn't fit right. I don't know. I mean, this is definitely the 370 kit, but like it is just so tight because this whole thing has to sit up back here. And I mean, I cannot get that bracket to get low enough on this. And then on top of that, the pot has to go like all up in here. And yeah, it just, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it fits. So yeah, I'm not sure what to do about that. I don't want to start cutting up things and taking off all these hoses and trying to do all that crap when I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it work or not. I did like figure out where these go. These two replace this one down here, that one that has that stupid plastic that cracks, that I replaced with the aluminum. It replaces those two lines. And then we have the long one that comes over here. It comes out of the firewall and then goes into the thermostat, but it also breaks off, I think, and comes to the, it comes to the throttle bodies, which I'm gonna cap that off and get rid of that bullshit, because that's not needed. And then I just have one more little line that goes somewhere up under the bottom, in the back of the engine, somewhere over there. But, I mean, that's all I need to do is just get the swirl pot figured out and run the lines to all the different little areas. Oh yeah, along with that, so I have this, that's what this big one is, but then the small one that goes to this bottommost inlet of these three, it didn't come with a little barb. It just came with this stopper. So I don't know if I clicked a wrong option and didn't realize that I needed the barb, or if they didn't send it, or I don't know. It would be weird for it to even be an option, honestly, to not have it, because you have to have the barb coming off of this to hook into that, or else the whole thing is like not hooked up correctly. I don't know what it would actually do, but I assume it just wouldn't be correct, and you'd be losing the function of the swirl pot, or bad stuff would happen. I don't know. But also, I don't know where this exactly goes. The videos that they put out is like on a S chassis, and they show like a little snippet, like freaking like a picture of where this goes, and it looks like it goes onto this red line right here. I'm not entirely sure, because this is the Z1 little bleeder thing, and that usually goes right back there on that aluminum piece that I replaced. But I mean, it could be just generic, like correct size, and they want it on this. I don't know. I'll have to go research a little bit, but I don't want to start tearing it apart because I just have today, and then, I mean, less than 2 weeks before we go to Driven Luck, because we got to leave on a Thursday. So all I have is pretty much next weekend to work on the car, and then days after work. But you got to think I also got to pack, and that's going to take a lot of time. So I may just have to be happy with the radiator being in and that being done, and do the swirl pot some other time. But I'm going to start trying to figure out how I can get this in here, and if I can get a barb sourced before then. So, but I mean, that's not even the biggest issue. The biggest issue is that it really doesn't seem like the swirl pot is going to fit where they want it to fit. So maybe I might have to make something custom, but the problem is I got to get it, like it's going to sit higher because of all that crap that's in there. So it may sit higher, but then I'm going to have to put the hood on and see if the hood is going to hit it or not. I assume what they made is probably, you know, the max safe height that you can get it to before, you know, you have problems with your hood touching it. So I really don't know if there's any wiggle room or not. I don't know. I do not know. But the swirl pot would just help with getting air out of the system. It's not actually going to make it run colder unless obviously I can't get the air out of the system. Then it's going to run like shit. It's going to be hot as hell. But the biggest part of the cooling upgrade is done. The main thing. And also, like, no wonder it doesn't fucking cool. Look at all this shit in front of the car. Look at this. I got a 32-row oil cooler, 16-row power steering cooler, all the lines coming in front, 2 fucking big-ass intakes, and then the bumper isn't cut to increase airflow or anything, and yeah, no wonder it fucking runs hot, dude. It isn't getting any air. Whatever, I'm gonna research, I'm gonna figure this out, see what I can do. Okay, I'm slowly working on this. This is kind of shitty. This light. The hose that goes back to there, this is the one that we have to put the little bleeder on right there. I got new hoses to replace that, so I was like, let me just take them all off and put all the new stuff on. But I'm having trouble with the other part of the hose that goes, it like connects into the back of the engine down here, and it's a pain in the ass. It has one of these clamps on it, and it's just impossible to get to. So I'm working on that. I got this lower radiator hose cut out, and I put the thing on there for that. So that's one of the lines that leads up to the swirl pot. I also did the swirl pot thing. I had to like modify the swirl pot because they didn't give me the right hardware or make the holes the right size or any of that stuff. So I had to do my own shit there, and then you gotta kind of grind this little piece out to make it sit in there. It sits super fucking tight. I hate it. I think this is like, I don't know, this is not my most favorite design ever that I've gotten from anybody. But at the same time, I'm not really sure what the other option would be. So I'm just trusting that this is the best spot for it, or the best way to mount it. I could have done something custom maybe and put it over there. I don't know. But it's in there tightly. I'll have to put bolts going through here. But I'm not doing that until I get all the lines hooked up to it, because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to pull this back out to run the line from the lower radiator up into there. So there's a whole lot of fun stuff going on here. And we got Driven Luck in a couple of days. So I gotta get this done and get the coolant back in there and get it bled out, and then do an oil change, and then probably also a bolt check, because I haven't done that yet. Or did I do a bolt check? I don't know, maybe, who knows. I'll have to just do another one if I already did one, just to double check. Yeah, it's coming along. Okay, we're almost done with this, really. This one in the back here was an absolute bitch to deal with. That that hose going up in there was like so bad, so bad. My dad ended up having to cut it off and burn the little metal clamp off and everything. But I don't have the freaking snap clamps on there. I got the little twisty ones on there now. But that's on there. That's ran over there, that side. I got the two coming down to there. I got the one coming off the bottom that goes all the way to the lower radiator hose. So the only thing that's left to do, if I want to do it, is these two hoses. This little tiny one goes up under there somewhere. I don't know where. And then this one is this hose right up in here. So it goes up in there like that. Which it's like, it doesn't really need to be done right now, but it's also part of the whole cooling system. So it's like, if I do it later, then I'm gonna lose coolant. Maybe not a lot, because it's kind of a high point. I don't know. We'll see how I feel about doing that. But besides that, all I gotta do is slap it back together and start filling it with fluid. So. Okay, I'm back working on it. I got this hose on there. That fucking hose clamp had the same damn problem where we had to melt it off in order to get this hose off. The old hose, not that specifically. But to put it back on, I had to go and buy a special tool that actually is like a, you know, like a remote hose clamp thing, compressor. And even then I had to like zip tie the thing shut in order to make it work. So one more hose, one more, and then put it all back together. Okay, I got it all back together. I mean, everything besides the whole crash bar bullshit. But yeah, I had to modify this. I cut a little bit out of here to not pinch those lines. Same thing for the back, mostly for the back, for up in here. Let's see if I can get a good thing, because I mean, this comes, like, I mean, this was basically pinching right here. So that absolutely needed to be done. For this, they never provided me with the hardware for it, so I had to just kind of scavenge around for shit. But I mean, this is so fucking tight. It's terrible. I only put one in because, I mean, it's just that solid. I mean, even without the bolts, this thing would like really not move much. I would just be mostly worried about it kind of going up and down, and I didn't really want to deal with that. So I put one bolt in. It doesn't need the other because it's so freaking tight. I got all the lines in except for the little tiny one, because it is like, you have to get it from the bottom basically, because there's no room to really get up in here unless you start removing like all kinds of shit. And honestly, I just didn't think it was worth it. I mean, I had to go get a special tool, this thing, this like mobile clamp thing, to get that one in the back, and that was still way too difficult. So I don't even know how I would do that tiny one, but if I ever take the headers off again, or maybe not even the headers, just the like the cats or test pipes or whatever I have on there, then I'd probably have enough room to get up in there. But if I'm not doing that, then that ain't getting replaced. Hell no. So it is almost back together. I'm gonna put the whole front together and then throw some coolant in there, run it through the system, try and bleed it and all that, and then I just gotta do an oil change. And then I guess maybe like check like alignment and stuff, and do like maybe a bolt check. Just kind of go over the car a little bit and see if it's ready to go, because we're gonna be way too far away to do anything if I need to do anything. So kind of sketchy, kind of sketchy. And she is back together. There's only a little bit of stuff that I didn't really time lapse or whatever. Like I kind of fixed the bumper here. I did some plastic welding on the cracks up in there and added some plastic as well. And then I heated this up and kind of bent this back. So it's not as bad. I mean, you can still kind of tell, but it's definitely a lot better than what it was. I mean, now it's like almost damn near not noticeable, except from certain angles. Before it was like you could see it from every angle. But besides that, I had to bend this back out because it was bent from being ripped out of there. And then some stuff that came loose, and yeah, that's all good. Everything's back together. I'm trying to think what else I did. Oil change, did the coolant, the swirl pot seems to be working good. The only thing that I have left to really do is to pull a vacuum and then add some Freon. So then I can have some AC up there. So that shouldn't be too hard. I just don't know where any of that stuff is. So I gotta wait for my dad to come back from whatever he's doing, and I can add some AC, and then we got him sorted up. We had to cut these a little bit. They used to have 3 holes, and we cut this one back as this was starting to hit stuff whenever, you know, even just driving around town, this would like catch, because it was like down to here. So it was pretty freaking low to the ground. But he's all good. I did the alignment on his car. It's close enough. We'll just have to see how it drifts and adjust it on site, but I think I got it pretty damn close. Anywhere from like 0.5 to 0.25 toe out on both sides, something like that. He's got the E-Pass in. He replaced the subframe because it had gotten in a crash at some point, so this whole area was messed up and it was causing some weird shit on the side. He took off all the power steering stuff. He wanted to try and put an oil cooler up in this area, but there just wasn't time for that. And then just fixed a bunch of stuff from the mechanic we brought it to, who fucked up a lot of stuff and left stuff stripped and bolts missing and all that kind of stuff. So don't bring your shit to people if you don't want them to fuck it up. That appears to be our lesson that we learned. So yeah, nobody's touching this car except for me and him now. Absolutely not. So yeah, I think we're about ready to go to Driven Lux Circuit. All we gotta do is pack.